Hey, Theodore here from High Flow Drainage Solutions. Today, we're in St. Joseph at a client's home working on solving their drainage issue. They reached out to us because during any heavy rain event, water would overwhelm their current drainage system. And you can see this hill here. Water would just run down this hill towards their home through their driveway, which is causing an issue for them. Actually, this type of situation creates a problem for a lot of people where a driveway will go downhill, essentially directing water towards the home, and you'll get a lot of standing water in this area. So, what we're going to be doing is essentially adding a swale on one side of the driveway here, which will be lined with riprap rock, to create basically a small dry creek bed to channel that water towards a 24-inch catch basin behind Greg here on the saw, which will catch that water and direct it away from the home. Now, the reason we're running the saw is because we're also installing a channel drain across the driveway to catch any water that may be in the driveway. A channel drain is a long, narrow drain that stretches all the way across your driveway. We'll show you how we install it and some useful tricks later. The 24-inch catch basin and the channel drain will both tie into a 6-inch discharge line that exits into this area over here. You can see we've already finished that part. There's actually a great slope on this side of the house, so we're going to have no problem getting rid of all of that water. I'm going to hand the video over to Caleb, who's a lot more knowledgeable about this specific project.
It is currently midday on this project, and we have the drainage system completely dug and mostly plumbed. We haven't set the channel drain yet, and you can see that channel drain sitting, lying in wait over on the opposite side of the cutout in the concrete across the driveway. Jason has begun laying out drainage fabric through the riprap bed, or also known as a dry creek bed or a riprap swale, whichever term you are familiar with. But it's basically going to be what would you say, a less, not a ditch, just a gentle ditch, you could say, but a bit of a channel that is going to direct stormwater into our 24-inch catch basin. Let's take a quick look at our slice across the driveway. We've made a slice across the driveway, yes, for the channel drain, but we've also utilized this trench going underneath the driveway for our 6-inch discharge line. This 6-inch discharge line is coming from the 24-inch catch basin, and then the Y you see here is a Y for hooking up our 6-inch channel drain. Now, if you've been watching our channel for a while, you've probably started to notice a trend, and that trend being that whenever possible, we utilize one trench to run multiple drainage systems and multiple pipes. The reason we do that, as long as we can do the job right while utilizing one trench, we'll do that because it saves our clients money. We just want to do the job right. There's no point in doing more than necessary, more than needed to solve your problems and meet your needs. Down here towards the discharge end, the boys have backfilled the majority of the discharge line. Greg is on the mini skid steer, and he's working on compacting the trench. Now, a discharge line that's backfilled with soil, the soil is going to settle a little bit over time, and we know this. So what we do is we utilize the tracks on our machines to roll back and forth over the trench after we've backfilled the trench with soil. And then we leave about a 2 to 3 inch crown over the top of the trench. That way, over time, when the trench does settle a little bit, ideally, it settles at a level point, level with the rest of the yard around it. Typically, the trench is going to settle about 2 inches after we have done a drainage system installation, and even after we have compacted it with the machinery tracks. The machinery tracks compact it well, but it isn't perfect. You will have a little bit of settling over your trenches. That's why we build a little bit of a crown over the top. Here pretty soon, once this channel drain has been leveled, leveling meaning slightly sloped towards the discharge hookup right here, and once it has been pinned down with these pieces of rebar to make sure there's no side-to-side movement, during pouring concrete. We'll go ahead and get some concrete poured around it. Just want to show you guys real quick what a channel drain looks like when it's properly installed. Let's get a look at it from a long angle. This channel drain is sitting on about 1% slope. You want to try to get as much slope on the channel drain as you can without bringing the edge of it too far beneath the existing concrete. So right now we've found that happy balance at about 1% slope. The channel drain is recessed beneath the existing driveway by about a ½ inch up at the top end. Then once you get down to the end, it's recessed about an inch. Thankfully, this driveway had a bit of a slope coming this way already, so that worked in our favor. We have a 4-inch Schedule 40 PVC discharge line leading the end of the channel drain. Sections of rebar on each end, or each side of the channel drain running parallel to it. See these small pieces of rebar? This is a polylock channel drain. I believe NDS does this as well. There are little holes here, little anchor points, so that you can slide ½ inch rebar down through these anchor points and keep the channel drain from moving while you're pouring, and that's pretty critical. You don't want this thing floating up or moving side to side while you're pouring. Now really, the most important tip I can give you guys when it comes to channel drains, especially channel drains going underneath driveways, you gotta get concrete underneath the channel drain. So make sure you do something, no matter what channel drain you're using, make sure you do something to get it elevated off the bottom of your concrete base. That way you can get concrete underneath it. Maybe make your first batch of concrete that you start pouring nice and runny, and just target the underbelly of your channel drain to make sure that you get concrete underneath the channel. If you don't, eventually this channel drain is going to settle real bad. It's going to start breaking in spots because there's nothing to support the underbelly when vehicles drive over the top of it. So you got to get some concrete underneath it. If you extract nothing else from this video, just keep that little fact in mind. On polylock channel drains, they have these pre-made with little tabs or a slot that is designed to allow you to attach a 2x4 to the bottom of your channel drain to make sure you get that elevation up off the base. It is now the end of the day, and we pretty much have this project wrapped up. We've got our dry creek bed or riprap swale installed, and that is channeling water into our 24-inch catch basin. The channel drain is mostly installed, just have to finish troweling it, and then we can go ahead and pull this tape off. And by the way, I don't believe I mentioned this earlier when I was talking about the channel drain, but another good tip, it may seem like kind of a no-brainer, but when you're doing a channel drain, make sure to tape over the grate. That way you don't end up with concrete and slag going down in your grate. Moving on to the discharge line area. We've got that completely backfilled and final graded. The guys seeded and strawed it. There was a bit of a dry creek bed right here that was installed by someone else before we got here. And we went ahead and ripped that out, not only to allow us to install our discharge line, but also this dry creek bed had been sitting too high. So now we have it sitting kind of down beneath the driveway a little bit to make sure water actually flows off the driveway through it instead of building up in this corner. The customer had complained about water building up in this corner, so that should be taken care of now. Going on down to the discharge end, we've got a 6-inch flow gate installed, also known as a 6-inch pop-up emitter. This is a great, clean way to discharge drainage system. If we have the option to go out of a ditch bank and do what's called daylighting a pipe, which basically means just running the direct end of a pipe out to daylight out the side of a bank, we do that, but that was not an option here, and it very seldom is in a residential setting. So very often you're going to see us use these pop-up emitters. They sit nice and flush with the surface as long as the top of the pop-up emitter sits well beneath what you're trying to drain. You're golden. Drainage is our profession. We're very good at what we do, and we would love to work with you. If you have a drainage issue in the Kansas City area and you're looking for a contractor you can trust to take care of your drainage issue the right way the first time, please give us a call.